Hello, and welcome back to another Northwood Tales Spoopy podcast.
Spoop.
And we have an actual human guest this time.
It's me.
This is Lauren,
Hi.
one of our best friends.
Hello.
/ kind of roommate down the hall.
Yeah.
Down the hall roomie.
We moved, too. That's the second one.
Yes,
We're finally in St. Paul.
Yeah.
We have no green screen. Maybe we can get it to work.
Yeah,
Surprise,
maybe.
we won't know until this video is edited.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's okay.
What spoopy things do you have for us today?
Today, we are going to talk about the Kensington Runestone.
The who to what one now?
Yes,
What's that?
exactly what I said.
Oh. Kensington?
Because you've heard of the Minnesota Vikings, right?
No.
No.
I'm not from here.
You Packer.
Rude.
You Green Bay Packer.
Oh, you mean the football team?
Yes. Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if you actually meant like,
I'm a Viking, baby.
yeah, like an actual.
Oh,
Schmick.
that's up for debate. That's part of this.
Oh, fun.
Because there's the Kensington Runestone, which, if you know kind of like mythology, Viking stuff, like runes are like a big part of like, I guess their language, like communicating.
The written language.
Yeah.
Our
Nordic
professional
kind of.
for today.
Yeah. No, not really.
So the
I read some
Runestone,
books.
Yeah, that's perfect.
the Runestone was discovered in 1898, long time ago,
That is
full 100+ years, and it was tangled in the roots of an old aspen tree on the Olaf Omen farm near Kensington, Minnesota. It's now located at a museum in Alexandria, Minnesota, which is technically, is that northeast-ish?
I don't know. My
Northwest.
GPS is
West.
Yep.
broken. Yeah.
And the museum is actually dedicated to the local history and heritage of the area, and of course the Runestone, because that was a big part back in the day.
I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Oh,
That'd be fun.
right now. Let's
I
go.
think
No.
it's like,
Bye. That's
what,
fun.
it's like a 2-hour road trip maybe?
Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And there's even a park named after the Runestone that is located on the Omen farm, which
I
is
would
where
not
it was
like-
discovered.
I would not like people walking around all over
Right?
my place.
No. Well, I don't know if they're buried there, but like that was their farm. I'm not sure if they have like burial grounds there for the family and whatnot.
Oh.
But I have a picture of him.
Mustache
Olaf.
man. He got mustaches.
Very fancy.
So not the Olaf from Frozen.
No.
He's
Nope.
the farmer. He looks like a farmer.
Yes. He was. Yeah, he's a farmer. So that's him next to the Runestone, and then there's a picture
Wow.
of the infamous Runestone.
runes. Is it? What's that look like?
Runes.
Fucking legit. That's what it looks like. Damn.
So an actual Viking wrote this?
Well, that's what we're gonna get into.
Oh.
Because as you can imagine, the discovery of the Runestone changed Olaf and his family's life forever, because nothing like this had been discovered at the time.
In America?
In America, yeah. And it,
Ooh.
like,
Did it just plop down in Minnesota?
well, because like Vikings are
Aliens.
like Norway,
Yeah.
like Sweden.
Iceland.
Yeah, it's like they're over there.
Right.
We're all the way over here, and we're inland
Yeah,
too.
that's-
So that's a
We're
thing
not
that I
even
wanted to talk about later, because we're
Really
like,
far to go.
yeah.
Boy.
And to this day, visitors of the museum will notice that there is something unusual about the artifact, and they often question its authenticity. And it's been heavily debated
Uh-oh.
if it actually is real Viking text. For more than 100 years, scientists, geologists, and linguists have studied the stone in an effort to offer a conclusive answer to the question of the runestone's authenticity. So we will get to like the conclusion later. I do have an answer for this one.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh.
I think it's 100% concrete of what they've figured out, what it, like the authenticity of it.
So not
Oh.
aliens?
Not aliens?
No,
Oh,
not aliens.
Not Vikings.
Not this time.
Oh,
Well,
Maybe Vikings?
maybe
I hope
Vikings.
it's the Vikings.
alien Vikings.
And I'm sure like if
How did it last? It was in a fucking tree.
it was like buried in the roots of the tree is how he said he found it.
That's crazy.
So just like sitting there. Well, we don't know how long it was there for, because obviously the Vikings were back in, what did I put?
Yeah, when was that?
880 to 1066 AD. So like
166. 8. 16
1066.
1060. Numbers are hard.
Did they carbon date this? Like they actually...
I think that's what they were doing with like the
Wow.
geologists and stuff like that, depending on what kind of stone it was and everything else too.
Okay.
And we're all from, well, you're basically from Minnesota. You're across the border over in Wisconsin, but you know, just like any of us that have grown up here, that a lot of businesses and companies use like runes, ships, and symbols of like Vikings.
Yeah.
And the name of the National League football team league, the Minnesota Vikings, is a direct outcome of the fame of the Kensington Runestone, which I thought was very surprising.
I
So
didn't
they
know that.
named the team after the runes?
Yeah.
That's what I found in my research. Yeah. Because
Interesting.
yeah, well, Minnesota's known for having like Finnish and Swedish and Norwegian like descendants because the area is so similar.
Very Scandinavian.
Yeah. Or even, well, not a lot of
The
like
climate
Icelandic
pale
people,
people.
but yeah, the climate's the same.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought we were like, that was what the
reason.
mascot was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was because of that,
Right.
of that heritage, but apparently not. Apparently it was because of this stone.
Wow.
So,
Fancy rock.
so that bids the question, was it real and left by the Vikings? And if so, how did the Vikings arrive in Minnesota? Because,
Right.
like I said, we're inland.
Yeah.
Aliens.
If you know geography, we are very far away from the ocean.
We have
Does
lakes.
does
Yeah.
Mr. Olaf have any Viking descent in his family, or is he
I think
aware
he's
of the
Swedish.
culture?
Yeah.
Do you
He
think
looks
he
very
knows?
Swedish.
What
Yes.
if he knew how to write?
Because I think he
And
was a first generation immigrant.
Okay.
I think.
I mean, to be fair, the photo of him, he looks very annoyed that he found this stone. Like,
And he's an older gentleman too in the
Yeah.
picture when it was
it's
found,
like,
or maybe it was
"Here we go
later.
again.
Yeah.
I had to pull a whole tree out of my farm. I was just trying to do some
Found a rock.
corn.
Yeah. Oh, nuts.
Now I got scientists climbing around
Mm-hmm.
around
Got
my...
this geologist that won't leave me alone.
Yeah.
But like this map shows here, and the Viking era was again 800 AD to 1066 AD. But like this, they stayed relatively close to their islands. Like they
Yeah.
didn't even with like Iceland to like Norway and stuff, they didn't make the trek. I don't think too often.
Right. Well, the show Vikings says different. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, they do because they are traders by nature.
They traded slaves too.
Yeah, they weren't the greatest, but like,
That's
Awkward.
mean.
yeah, they were known as traders, warriors, and explorers. And most of the villages were in Norway, Sweden, and Finland. But there are also some tribes in Iceland and Greenland, even on the east coast of modern day Canada and like the provinces on Canada, because they're right up by the
Canada
ocean.
Closer?
Oh yeah,
Is it?
yeah, because like
Then Iceland?
no, what?
Well, like closer from us. So, like,
Yeah.
would you hit the East Coast or Canada first
Oh.
from Iceland?
They're
or Greenland?
both. I think they're
Probably the
both
same.
right there.
Depends
Because-
what current you hit.
Valid.
Yeah, because there's was it Newfoundland?
Because it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
if they
you'd hit
didn't-
Canada first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you
So
have
there's that whole-
Nova Scotia,
Right.
New Brunswick. I think there was people on what portion is this? I don't know what province that's part of.
Mm-mm.
Newfoundland and Labrador, maybe. Yeah, so they would have hit that first. Maybe Maine if they wanted to go around Nova Scotia.
Maybe they followed this little. Maybe they went into the river. What is that river?
Yep,
The-
it leads.
Oh,
Toronto River?
Toronto.
Let's
No.
see.
Troy. No. Saint Laurent.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
It's
they
very
hit the
French.
bay and just kept going
Mm-hmm.
through the
Because
river.
there is a
And
way
then
to get to
found
the
Minnesota.
lakes that way.
And the lakes. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
go through all the lakes.
And eventually, I think the Mississippi's on the south side that it gets out. But there's ways that you could. Because you can travel from lake to lake. I don't think there's still rivers that connect everything. So they could have taken that from the Gulf of St. Lawrence
Mm-hmm.
and travel inland. But that's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And they don't know for sure if they're going to find people to trade with.
Or good
Well-
land to farm on.
Mm-hmm.
And if
they
they,
have no
stayed,
idea.
we would have had more.
They were
proof.
there.
Yeah.
They were there
Find
before
more tools. access.
Columbus, right?
Yeah,
Technically.
I think so. Yeah.
Did Columbus turn them into slaves?
They turned other people into slaves.
Oh.
Yeah, so
That's unique.
that's the main thing. What was the reasoning behind them traveling inland to Minnesota, other than the weather being similar? But it was a super far distance, and their boats
and
are
you have
huge
to get down, and you'd have to,
most of the time.
depending on where you are, you either cross the lake and hit Wisconsin or follow the lake around. And then why
You have
would
to go through all the other lakes to get to Lake Superior.
Yeah.
So you're like
why
going
would you
through.
just stop
Yeah,
at the farthest point instead of like
they just kept going and going.
sooner?
And their boats are made for seawater, right? I feel like
Yeah.
it would float different on freshwater, wouldn't it?
I mean,
Probably.
they wouldn't be able to handle lake chop. Lake chop is
No.
shorter than ocean chop.
Yeah, they
That's
need
why-
short boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
That's
most
why
weren't they
ocean-
like, didn't they build like big ships for the most part
thought they
when
did.
they were
Big
like
old
because they're
canoe
traveling
boats.
and if they're trading
Yeah.
goods and people,
And
they need a big boat.
if they got a big boat here, we would have found evidence of
Yeah, where
Yeah.
them boats? Where them boats at?
where them boats at.
So a lot of people
Aliens.
say that the stone could be a hoax. Maybe a
Ah.
Scandinavian immigrant planted it there. Maybe it was Olaf.
I mean, it would make sense if someone left with the artifact, if they left in the 1800s, came to Minnesota.
They carried
Yeah.
that the whole way?
That was a
Maybe
big-
it has
it's
a big
actual
stone.
secrets on it. Has anyone
Yeah,
thought
it's
to
this. It's the
translate
size
it?
of a human torso. Yeah. They've tried. There's been linguists, and
Have
we'll get
they?
to that later.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
They
if
think,
it's secrets,
yes.
then what if someone was in that area, Norway, wherever,
Mm-hmm.
and it had secrets, so they took it and they just sailed away to try to protect it.
Yeah.
What if
But
it's just a tombstone? Here lies
Oh,
this
no.
bitch. My
Oh,
face.
no.
Do you guys want to hear
Yes. What's
the
going on
answers
with
to all the
it?
questions?
Yeah.
So, actually, last year, a teacher in Sweden discovered ruins in, I think it's Hälsingland? Hälsingland, I think is how you pronounce it. I probably butchered that. Which is only 5 kilometers from the site where Kensington Runestone's inventor, Olaf, was born. So he was a first
So he packed up his
First-
bags in Sweden.
first gen immigrant. So he lived over there. So it was 5 kilometers from his hometown.
The rune was? I thought he found it on his farm.
No, he did find it on the farm.
What was
But there's a teacher in Sweden that discovered runes similar
More.
So he
last
took it-
year.
He could have taken some with.
And there's an
Okay.
expert, Magnus Karlström, and he said that perhaps the runes were a secret language that he and others in the area knew and used when he made the Kensington Runestone as a practical joke, is what he thought. So if there was similar writings from like a village close by,
Yeah.
they shared like a dialect or like a certain way of like
Yeah.
writing things out. And researchers have since determined the stone is fake. The language
Nuts.
used was closer to 19th century Swedish rather than the 13th century like Norse.
Wait, how do you have
runes.
Swedish runes though? You
I
just
think they've adapted over the
literally
years probably.
translate sounds to. Okay.
Which is
Apparently
interesting
that's
'cause
what
by
the
that
linguists and
time,
researchers said. Yeah.
Sweden already had their own language written.
Mm-hmm. So they probably adapted from like Old Norse and just was like, we're gonna make this symbol mean this and this mean
Right.
this.
It's a
Interesting.
prank.
You just got pranked.
Oh God, assholes.
Nuts, not aliens.
Yeah, but they still
Unless
have the
he was controlled by an
museum.
alien and it's all conspiracy to hide aliens.
But they still have the museum and it's still there, so people go and visit it all the time.
I'd like to see it still.
Yeah, it's still like a
'Cause it's old.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, still, yeah, from the 1800s.
Yeah.
If anything.
What does it say? Did they actually?
No, they just said that they correlated it back to that one village, and that it was closer to Swedish somehow,
What if it actually said like, "This is the prank"? Stupid.
right? Because it looks
It looks real.
like it, but I know they've modified symbols. Like you can go on like the internet, like Reddit, Pinterest, and stuff, and see like, oh, this symbol means this and this and this.
Do you
There's a
have that
couple.
Dragonology book?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Oh,
had
it had
how you could
runes in
learn
it,
how
didn't
to.
it?
Yep, write runes.
Yeah,
Some of them
'cause-
look just like this, so.
Maybe
okay.
he had the dragon book. He's a time traveler.
It was dragons!
But that raises the point. What if he went through Lake Superior that has crystal quartz, and you could use it as a time traveling dimensional bridge thing. And he just like
travel back in time.
Yeah.
Be like, lols.
I'm just gonna bring this back, guys. Maybe he taught his village how to do all that stuff. He just took it with him. If he was a time traveler.
But then he buried it in the ground around his tree.
That's where he said he found it. So
Maybe
he was the one who found it. So he
ate.
could make up anything.
Could have just had it there, and then dirt got on it, and then the tree came on it, and then it just grew around him.
Mm-hmm. He could have just left it there. I don't think it was any form of a grave marker. None of the research kind of had anything to do with that.
Because there was grave robbers, obviously.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Aliens.
It's always aliens.
But I'm trying to see. Will this translate for me?
Fake old Swedish runes. Weird.
Yeah, does that come up if you Google that?
Yeah.
Does it come up?
Let me just
Well, yeah,
check.
the article, I can't translate it on my phone, but this is the article about, like, the teacher finding it last year.
It's in...
Oh, that's definitely
it's
not
in
a language I can
Swedish.
read.
It's in Swedish. I can't read it.
So it completely shuts down that we had Vikings. And
Yeah. Well, that would bring us back to it. That stone is fake. But there still could have been potential Vikings, but it still wouldn't make sense, though, for them to travel that far.
That's so far to go.
Yeah.
without stopping in Canada first and then getting comfy.
And
right,
they
yeah.
on the coast.
Yeah. Because that would make it
Nuts.
easier, because they can just ride the coast and pillage and trade.
Right.
Do their thing up there.
Yeah.
So that means the football team is named after a joke.
Basically.
No
I'd like
wonder
to
they
think it
haven't
has
made
more
it
to do
the
with
Super Bowl.
It's because we're a joke.
I'd like to think that it has more to do with the heritage of, like, the people
Yes.
that
Oh,
immigrated here, but
It better be.
according to my research, it says otherwise.
Not. No.
It's fake.
Yeah, there was a whole Reddit post, and I actually found the articles from this person posting on
Wow.
Reddit, and there's a thread
Way
for,
to
like,
go, Reddit.
yeah,
Right.
there's a
Coming in
subreddit for
clutch.
just, like, Norse. So,
Oh,
That's
okay.
cool.
yeah. So they were talking about it.
That would have been cool, though, to have actual Vikings here.
Right?
Since
Yeah.
we
That'd
have
be
so
cool.
much heritage. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
like Swedish, Finnish. What are you? Oh.
Norwegian, half German.
Hell
I think.
yeah. So we all gotta be Vikings.
I'm a Viking in my dreams. I'm
We
Thor.
Yeah.
We can be whatever we want. Yeah, apparently, like, it was rumored to reference a journey to Vinland during the time when Leif Erikson was very much talked about and debated. Cause,
Don't we have a Leif Erikson Park?
in
Duluth.
Duluth. Yep.
That's when my dad got married.
Aliens.
Aliens. My dad's an
Because
alien.
I think he
He's
was...
an athletic alien.
He's very athletic.
Because Leif Erikson,
This is so weird.
I've known this before.
This just got
and now I
weird.
don't remember. He was a Norse explorer from Iceland. So he was Icelandic.
Okay.
So supposedly he came to North America before Columbus.
That's good.
He died in Greenland, though.
Oh.
So he never made it to Minnesota.
He was Icelandic and Norwegian. Well,
So we still have it there only because heritage reasons? The park?
possibly.
Or was he actually in Duluth?
He established a Norse settlement in Vinland, which I don't know.
What is Vinland? Like Newland?
I don't know.
Finland? Fancy way to say Finland?
Violin.
The Newland?
Is an area of coastal North America.
Ah.
So probably like
It's their...
New Brunswick and stuff like
Yeah.
that, Canada.
Right.
Maybe Maine. But I don't know how we ended up having a Leif Erikson Park. I think it has to do with, like, heritage.
Yeah.
That's good.
Not so much him making the trek all
We
the way
don't need
over
two
here.
Vikings here with one, fake
No.
story.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many. Like, who knows? Maybe just the immigrants, our ancestors, just like to make up rumors. Be like, oh, hey, actually.
I'm a
We've been here.
descendant
Nah.
of Leif Erikson.
And I also have ruins in my backyard.
Right?
Nuts. But how cool would it have been, though, for it to be real,
Mhm.
That would have been awesome.
and then it's just like an
Yeah.
actual.
We're all Vikings.
Yeah.
I know that'd be cool to like trace that back to and be like, hey, my family, there was actually, granted, slavery's bad.
Slavery's
like,
very bad.
Yeah.
A lot of the other stuff is pretty fun.
Yes.
Well, because Viking just means long trip. Any trip that the Norsemen took that lasted longer than one shift change, I suppose you would call it, when they're rowing. If it's longer than like one shift change and they have to get more people to row, switch out, then it's considered a Viking because it's a long distance.
Yeah, they're not just going around the peninsula. They're going.
They just
they're
like
going all the
canoe
way
around their little island.
Yeah.
We've done it.
I'm a Viking now.
Oh.
That means I'm a Viking because we're all Vikings.
But
Because
we don't. Well,
we
I
took the
canoe
trip
for over an hour.
We just use our cars.
Boundary lands. Boundary waters.
Oh,
boundary lands.
It's a new amusement park.
Spooky.
You have to be a Viking in order to go.
Yes. I went to Iceland.
You did.
It's super dope.
Did you see any Vikings though?
There was a lot of Viking stuff.
Okay.
Like, there was a whole ship and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And hot springs.
Was it still in use, or is it just like, here's
No, it
a
was
memorial?
It's more like a memorial thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here's a
So you
ship.
can't
They
actually
have
go
books
into the
on.
ocean.
Yeah, they have a lot of books and gift shops. Those are cool.
Ah.
And sheep.
Sheep.
Lots of sheep. Shep, we call them.
Shep.
Shep.
Not here.
Welcome in.
We don't have any sheepies here, really.
No,
Sheep.
we have turkeys.
Ugh. I have med
Turkey. I'm trying to see if there was a translated text.
If anyone actually translated it.
Yeah, because this one article says it took more than 100 years for scholars to correct the imperfect copy
What?
and translate it to text, but I don't see the actual translated copy.
Because it's a
Aliens.
secret.
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Aliens.
Secret.
Aliens.
Aliens.
I want to know what it says.
Yeah.
Probably like,
I really
Lulz.
hope it's like, this is a prank.
Yeah.
Ah, stupid. Or if it's like real.
Yeah.
it's a treasure.
Did they
hunter's
happen
map.
to say what kind of stone it was carved on? And what it was
Like
carved with?
limestone
No,
or
I'm
sandstone?
not sure.
How they
Because it'd be
That
interesting
doesn't
if the
say.
stone didn't match the area, you know?
Right.
Because then you could
Then it'd
prove
be
it
like,
a little
whoa.
more, or vice versa.
Yeah. We gotta go to the museum.
Yes.
Maybe it says.
Yeah. It'd
Well,
have
yeah,
way
we
more
should
just go there
information.
and then
We'll report
See,
back.
yeah. That makes
We're
more
going to take
sense.
a road trip.
Road trip.
Yes.
Yes. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, bye.
This is only the beginning of the research. We're going to go
Yes.
full in.
Yep.
We'll build a ship and go to the museum. Somehow
Build
we'll
a
find
ship.
a
Go
river.
Vikings.
Just like the Vikings.
Yes, we'll find a river to go all the way to Alexandria.
Mississippi?
No.
Down. We gotta go up. We'd be going against the stream the whole time. St.
Nuts.
Croix River?
Okay.
Maybe.
I don't know where exactly
Well, we're going to
Alexandria is.
boat to the museum.
Yes.
Can we have wheels on the boat, please? Can we just make a boat shape
We
around
put
our
some-
car?
Put some cardboard. Just like, we're going, guys.
horns.
I'm ready. We're going to do
I'm
We
it.
down.
wear little Viking hats with the little horns or
Cut
whatever, the
to-
like stereotypical.
There was some with that fancy mall with, you could buy little
Yeah. Well, we have
kid
like
Viking hats.
Oh,
we have Nordic wear,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the kitchen
Yeah.
stuff. There's
Yeah.
so many things
mm.
that are like related to Norse in
but
Minnesota.
no actual physical Viking
Yeah.
proof.
No. Well,
We can go
not that I
steal
found. We can make our own and plant. We
We
plant
could-
little like tiny rooms and just.
We could go to Norway and bring some back and then bury it.
Oh, like a time capsule. Who's gonna find this later?
some. Yes.
We have
That'd
to
be
write
great.
like a dead language. That,
Yes.
You have to carve it in a rock.
Okay.
A spooky rock.
I'm going on road trippers. I'm planning our trip.
Okay.
We're gonna vlog it. We're gonna
Is
go.
there a river?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm gonna look if there's a river.
while we planned for this trip, we will see you in the next podcast with more spoopy things.
More spoopies.
But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being our first official human
Yeah.
guest, not the cats.
Yeah.
Not the cats.
It's not the cats.
Am human, or am I?
Aliens. Yes. Wow.
Bye.
Bye.